Hey, what is up, everybody? I am the Mangoose. You are awesome. Not me. You. You are awesome. And hopefully, I am streaming right now. Let me check out on the YouTube here. It says it's starting up, so that's good to go. So make sure I can see the comments. So, we are back to the core map, checking it out. They've made a few updates since the last time I showed you guys this stuff. Hey, what is up, everybody? What is up, Diego Sandoval? What is up, Michael Van Dijk? Michael Van Dyke? The King, Ludwig, So Regal. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. So there have been a few changes, like I said. If you notice, I'm not playing music because there is ambient sound in the background now. You can kind of hear the waterfall from the fountain over here. It's not all that loud, so I don't know if you guys can actually hear it or not. So we're going to walk about and take a look at some of the changes that they have made. And it still looks gorgeous. However, you will notice that Kalari doesn't completely fade into the shadows anymore. They increase the gamma on the shadows. So, that isn't quite a big problem anymore, guys. And let me know in the comments if there's anything wrong with the stream. I've been having interwebs problems today. So this has changed. This used to be that rock formation, like the fallen rocks. I'm not sure why they got rid of that. What's up, everybody? What's up, Darkness? What's up, Radu? What's up, Mark? I can't hit everybody. Official, Equivocal, Queen, Skyla, Subham Sharma, J. Cole, everybody. What's up? Good to see you in here. So this, like I said, this rock wall is gone, and it kind of frees this lane up a little bit because, as you can see, this tower is actually extends over in here. So this tower's lane is actually taken up a bit by some vertical terrain, not just on the wraparound side over here either. Thoughts on Prime Dunk location? They've made a few changes to the Prime Dunk location, and I'll show you guys here in a minute. And as you can see here, you see this, the lanes. One of my suggestions was that they do something about the tower distance in the lanes. So I timed it earlier. This is about a 5 to 6 seconds from one tower to the other. So they did put these towers a little closer together. This is going to be the solo lane, and I kind of have a little bit of a problem with this solo lane, and I'll tell you guys about that after we go take a look at the duo lane and the changes that were made over there. How many characters will they be adding? 15. 15 heroes for the alpha. You can go to their website, metabuff.com, and take a look and see who all they are. I don't know if I could rattle them off the top of my head. Like, as you go into the jungle, you can hear a lot more sounds. Like, you can hear birds tweeting. You can hear some crazy bird out there. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. So we're going to come over here to the Prime Dunk, which is the duo lane. Nato Cristo, what's up, man? Nato Cristo is a Twitch streamer that I'm going to be collaborating with here soon. Now, this is the new Prime Dunk location. It was directly underneath this dude holding the ball. What's up? What's up, water coming through? Can I get through there? No. I did find a few locations where I could actually jump off the map, though, which is, I already reported those as bugs. So now the dunk location is the opposite, and the reason for that is this is a lot wider now. This is a much narrower corridor. Excuse me, sorry. And which made this lane a bit more narrow. And I think that was the suggestion coming from another Notch. He was saying that nobody would ever gank this lane because it was too wide. And they also opened this up a bit. So now there's 5 entrances into the duo lane, giving junglers a better opportunity to try and gank and ruin that support and that ADC's day. Any word on the alpha sign up? Not yet, not that I know of. The only thing I do know is that select content creators will be given keys to be given away. One of those content creators is yours truly, along with Mandy, and I'm not going to give them away on stream because I don't think that's fair to people that can't catch the stream, so I'll probably give them away in my Discord. So this is one of the changes they make, and you can see we were over at the solo lane earlier. You can see all the way across. This is like I think I timed it out to be like 8 or 9 second. So it's about 3 second difference between solo lane and duo lane as far as the tower spacing. So that's good. I'm glad they put that delineation in. However, I do have a bit of a problem with solo lane. I'll tell you guys in a minute. What's up, Gideon? Will fog walls still be visible through just heroes will be invisible to people on the other side? I think it's just I think that the heroes will just be invisible on the other side of the fog wall. I'll have to confirm. Yeah, the gank possibility from the dunk is cool. This is another change. We'll go through the jungle changes too, but this used to be completely closed off, and the only way you could get into the lane is if you had a movement ability like Kalari's jump, which that seems to go way too high. And but now they've added a little staircase, so now you can get into mid lane. Mid lane has changed quite a bit too. If you remember, these were like extended platforms before the last time I was on this map. Now they're more of a cliff style rock formation. That's going to make that's definitely going to change some things. Like if you go to get your buff and you don't have a movement ability to jump back up here, so you come to get your river buff. What's up, Meow Mix? So you come to get your river buff, and then you're coming back into lane. Instead of having like a circular wraparound, you have this entire wall that you need to traverse to get back to your lane. And that entire time, people are going to know exactly where you're running to, make it very easy to land some abilities. So you're going to have to be quick on your jukes when you're a mid laner. So let's go back to that solo lane. I'm going to talk about why I have a little bit of a problem with the solo lane. I saw, dude. What's up, Faceful? Faceful, let me get some piggies in the chat. When can we play? On the alpha release is still scheduled for April 27th. So that will be the soonest you can play. However, they will roll the keys out in waves. They're not going to just have 10,000 people murder their servers immediately. So that's when you can play. Yeah, the map looks beautiful. I really like that they adjusted the shadows too. And now here's my problem with the solo lane here. So you have a harvester in both sides on both jungles, and then one neutral harvester right here. If you ever played Legacy, you will know that whoever controlled the most harvesters usually won the game because you had a huge economy advantage over your enemies. So this solo lane is going to be very important to dominate. You need to really dominate this solo lane to give yourself enough time to plant this harvester. I think you're going to be able to have to plant them and then take control of this neutral harvester to give your team an economy gain. I think that gives an advantage to casters over melee solo laners. So like, take the Fae, for example. If I was playing the Fae and I was up against a Feng Mao, I could just poke him in the face all day. I may not be able to kill him if he's a good Feng Mao, but I can certainly poke him, force him back, clear the lane minions out, force him back under his tower, and then come up here, place the harvester, and then bam, I have my entire team has an economy advantage over the enemy team. So I think this really benefits caster type heroes as the solo lane. So I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that. And then if you take it a step further, these are bold claims, by the way. I mean, the game isn't out yet. You can try and predict things all you want, but players will figure things out and will always find a way. But My prediction though is, since if casters are going to be the best solo laners, just because they can push the wave a little harder than a melee heroes and poke them out a little better, then it's going to come down to who has the most mana. So I think you probably see where this is going. Belica offlane being able to suck the mana out of the enemy offlaner is going to be absolutely dominant. I think Belica will be the #1 choice for offlane if they keep the map the way it is. So, like, you could just throw your mana sucker drone. I forget what that thing was called. I know the other one was Seismic Assault was her knockup. But anyway, you could throw that right here, even if you got backed under your tower, and this person either has to take the time to kill that drone while their mana is being sucked away, or they just stand here and try and plant the harvester while their mana is getting sucked away. And then once their mana's all gone, Bella could just push them back to base and plant the harvester herself. So, I don't know. We'll see. Hey, what's up, Otto? When this game coming out? April 27th is the alpha. Alpha. Range heroes can also farm up on the left. Exactly, yeah. So, poor Feng Mao's got to be down there. Or even Kalari. I mean, I'm playing Kalari. Why do I keep saying Feng Mao? I'm down here trying to get my last hits. Meanwhile, dipshit Gideon's up there just pinging me in the face with auto attacks and dropping rocks on my skull. So, it's this lane really benefits casters over melee. And, yeah, so, and I personally enjoyed playing melee offlaners a lot. I mean, I also enjoyed caster offlaners, but I really like Crunch for the offlane. I really like Feng Mao for the offlane, and it's going to be really tough as either of those heroes to gain control of this harvester, and this harvester is going to be key to victory because MOBAs are an economy game. Whoever has an advantage in economy has an advantage in the game. So let's go back up. Let's go back up. What do you think if characters can sliding? Not quite understand. Do you mean like the inertia that they gave the heroes? Like when they try and stop, it's not an immediate stop. I mean, it's a pretty abrupt stop for Kalari since Kalari's so light. But they did say that heavier heroes like my big thick boy Rick will actually have a little bit harder time stopping. So let's go over here into the jungle. Belica versus Iggy. Yeah, that's another one that would have a pretty good advantage is Iggy. It is bigger than Monolith, right? Yes, it is much bigger than Monolith. It's the Monolith assets on a legacy style map, is I think is the best way to say it. Facebook. Yes, the company is called Metabuff. The game is called Core. The Noob Saibot issue. Yeah, it's still there a little bit, but the shadows aren't quite as dark. Like you pointed out on Discord, that shit cracked me up so bad. That Kalari looked like Noob Saibot, but she's a lot more visible now than she was before. So they have adjusted the gamma on the shadows. Listen to those birds. Listen to those birds. So we're here in the jungle, and like I was saying, you have your own harvester that you can plant. You have this jungle camp. Really no change to this jungle camp. Let's head over here to the red buff. Really not much change to red buff. Really no change to red buff. So let's come over here to this other camp. Darkness, I do not know how they plan to do Iggy and Scorch. They seem to want to go more of a legacy style on everything, but we'll have to see. So we got this jungle camp here, and like I said already, the changes is that there's a more open area and a better access into the lane for everyone as opposed to just heroes with strong movement abilities. So let's come over to the other camp. And we got, boom, we got this other camp. This camp is a lot more open too. This back was completely closed off before. Now you can get over it if you have a movement ability, and you can just jump right down in there from the back if you need to. So they opened a lot of things up, closed some things off, and overall just took the community's advice and made some general changes to the map. Yeah, look. I need to... If I might do a video just showing the changes. Because this is much... this lane is far narrower than it was before. I never played, but your channel makes me hype. I play a 2v2 PSVR MOBA called Megalith. This Paragon-like game looks so good. Thank you for showing. Yep, no worries. I hope you get into the alpha. I hope you get to experience it, because the game obviously generated a huge following that we're very sad to see it go. And the circumstances under which it had to go were a little off, a little bad. So we're coming over here to the dusk side. When I did the stream with Windu, this is like some small nitpicky shit, but he was saying he wanted to see red on these towers as opposed to the blue. Like the towers over there are white and blue. He wants these to be black and red. I know that's a small nitpicky thing, but it would be absolutely amazing and awesome, and I love that idea. Windu's another great Twitch streamer, by the way. You guys should check him out. Very positive dude. Did Metabuff remove the idea of elemental resistance of jungle minions? I do believe so. I do believe so. I don't think that they're going to go with the randomized jungle camps. I mean, we can see the jungle camps here, and they're not the crazy jungle camps they put in their POC. Any news on harvesters? No real news on harvesters other than that they are going to be in the game. Here we have the dusk side. Just look at the sky. They did such a wonderful job with this map. It just looks absolutely beautiful. And I have the FPS counter up running, so I seem to be locked at 60. I'm sure I could go over that, but right now I'm just locked at 60, which is fine. That's usually what I run games at anyway, is 60 FPS. What is between predecessor and core, or the third one is all the same game? Predecessor seems to be going for even more of a legacy feel than core. Core is going for like kind of an improved legacy that kind of mashes up some of the assets from Monolith and some of the better things from Monolith, and mashes that up with legacy. Phoenix Rising is its own intellectual property that is a third-person MOBA in the style of Paragon, very much influenced by Paragon. And then the fourth one is Ethereal, which has nothing to do with Paragon, really. It just happens to be a third-person MOBA that was in development at the time that Paragon went down, and gave some people a little bit of hope. And that game is just bonkers different. Like, it's much, much different than any of these. But come back here. They haven't fixed this. You still get caught on this edge, on this ledge for the tower ring. That needs to be fixed. Hey, Flores, what's up? There's still a couple bugs in this, like, boop, there's an invisible wall right here. But that'll get adjusted. That's why they're doing this right here, so they can work all these bugs out before they bring this to the community at large. Yeah, the map is huge, and it is very well made and very beautiful. Let's go back in the jungle and hear these sounds again. So, yep, coming to the jungle, and we start hearing the birds. And as I move around, the sound changes. Like, it's definitely directional. Hopefully they'll be able to do that with hero abilities as well. A creepy ass bug. What's up, Hellland? You just picked up an RTX 2070. Damn, nice. My 1080 shit the bed on me. I'm using a 1060 right now. Can we do this ourselves too? Right now it's limited to influencers. When will they release the game? This month on the 27th is the alpha. They will release the keys in waves. So if you don't get in immediately, just hang tight. They have 10,000 slots open. Prime buff is still fucking huge. So they didn't change that around at all. Are they going to fix the darkness? They have fixed it a little bit. Like the first time I ran through this map, it was way worse than this. So I don't know if this is going to be the final change. Oh, by the way, I put a new channel in my Discord, suggestions for the map. So if you have any suggestions for the core map that you would like me to bring to their attention, head over to my Discord. It's in the video description, my Discord is. And just go to that core map suggestions channel and let me know. Harvester and Solo seems to give casters an advantage over heroes like Fing Mao or Terra. Do you think they're going to do some minor tweaks to the verticality of its position? I said the exact same thing earlier there, Marcos Gonzalez. And I don't know what they're going to do with that, but I'm definitely going to bring it to their attention. And this is the other side of mid lane. This is the other camp right here. And we have a more direct set of stairs to come in. And this directly overlooks mid lane. So this will be a good way for junglers to clear out their camps and then possibly come and gank mid lane. Look how high this is. We'll have to do some parkour later. There's a login tab in Metabuff web, but where's the register tab? They haven't sent out the register tabs yet, only to influencers. The alpha is PC only, however, I do believe with their closed beta they plan to release on PS4. When is the influencer match? I don't think there's going to be a match. I think it's just this. Again. But I'm getting to alpha. I will be following your journey, Mongoose. I've been following your videos for a few months now. You do a good job. Well, thank you very much, Zeus. Zeus cut loose. I like that name. I mean, they got 10,000 slots, so you're going to be extremely unlucky if you don't get an alpha key. I don't know if I like the changes they made to mid lane or not. I think I do. I think I do like the changes. Any chance we'll have voice lines in the final product? They seem to be very focused. Core seems to be very focused on sound design. So I think they probably will have voice lines. They do plan to have multiple announcer packs. The first announcer pack they released was like a very feminine voice, and people didn't think that was epic enough. So they released a male announcer pack, and you should be able to have the opportunity to choose between them. So river buffs are about in the same location. It's a little more closed off in here. You still have these two fog walls. It's going to be a dangerous proposition to come try and get this river buff. You have to be on your toes. Have they mentioned PC requirements in their frequently asked questions on metabuff.com? They do have some PC requirements, some suggested requirements. You know, yeah, it's you would think they would mirror each other. You would think that the ledge would be on the other side for one lane. That's a very good point. Does it feel like verticality gives an advantage to heroes with jumps and such? Kind of, yeah. Especially since they haven't introduced the invisible walls yet, so I can still do some crazy shit with Kalari. Let me head into the jungle and do that. It's the highest graphics possible for now. It's not the highest graphics possible for the overall game. Oh shit, I fell. I failed. I think I know you before. Did you play with Ash Ketchup? No, I never played with Ash Ketchup. You know what? I probably sound a lot like Sockap, and I know Sockap played with Ash Ketchum. The announcer pack. Where did? It's on one episode of For the Minions. I would have to look it up. Hit me up on Discord later, and I'll see if I can find that for you. Live Undead. Yes, I can mention that to them. So I mean, like, Clary definitely has an advantage right here where she can get all the way up here. Because who, you know, if you're not looking up, like she's invisible up there or something like that, she could drop down on you. You would never know where the hell she came from. Shit, I'm a little too twitchy. A little too twitchy. Let me get back up here. Now I'm getting bounced around like a ping pong ball. There we go. We parkoured that shit. Can you imagine somebody being up here and just dropping down in the mid lane? I mean, you could do that completely unseen too. Like you can come up from this path right here, get up here. So I think that they're probably going to put invis walls up here, at least at first. I know that they were toying around with some ideas about verticality in the jungle. Instead of running around like a headless chicken, can you show us what ways you can run to get back to middle lane after taking river buff? And the way using the river itself seems pretty obvious. Yeah, I did that earlier. I will do it again. Look at this. Look at this. So much attention to detail. Talk about the map changes. The stream has been going for a while. I have already talked about some of the map changes. I can go over them again. If there's anything you want to hear about in particular, let me know. So we take our river buff here. Come back towards the middle. And like I was saying, since this is a little more pronounced now, it's going to take you a little longer to get back to safety after you take your river buff. Unless, of course, you have a movement ability. You take your river buff right here. Come back towards the middle, and you can just hop this ledge. Otherwise, it's very dangerous to take this portion of the river buff. Now, if you come to this side, though, it's not quite as bad. You can take your river buff, head back to middle. You know, you could go back this way as well. And get back into lane if you wanted to be safer about it. But if you're trying to run straight back into lane, it's going to be very dangerous. And like it was pointed out, these mirror each other. They need to be offset, I think. One lane needs to have it on one side. The other lane needs to have it on the other side. Rotation times. We can do that. They look out of the PE of rocks. But does your path... Looks like when you run through jungle, don't quite understand what you mean. You want me to go through a jungle run? Is there anything you can show me that would be good to know? Maybe something not so obvious. You mean like just Paragon in general? Since you haven't played Paragon before, or... I mean, it's a MOBA, so if you've played MOBAs before, then you already get the concept. So you take any first-person shooter skills you have and apply it to a MOBA environment. So let's head over into the jungle here and talk about the jungle rotation again. And so we come in here. We've got a camp here. Harvester here. And the camp is laid out in a bit of a triangle around red buff. So we've got our harvester. Let's come over to this other camp. Right here, we've got another camp. This is the camp that's attached to mid lane, and we've got mid lane access. And if we run straight across, Like I said, they're laid out in a triangular formation, kind of like they were in Monolith. And we have this camp right here. And then directly in the middle of all of the camps, we have red buff. So now let's go over to blue side and check that out. My Discord is linked in the video description. Oh, Mandy, thank you. Thank you for telling me that I suck. Hey, Nos, how you doing? So here we have the blue side jungle. It's pretty much laid out in basically the same way, but there's no harvester on this side. So we got that camp there. If we come down there, we see the blue buff. See if I can find the other camp. There it is right here. So the blue buff seems a little more cramped, I think, than red side jungle. Blocked off there by the Orb Prime pit. So there should be, and yes, there is. So it is laid out the same way in a triangular formation with the blue buff in the middle and lane access. So now let's go over some rotation times. Hey, what's up, Shark? When I'm mid-gadget, I can get river buff, but I can only get back using the river. If I walk through the jungle, it brings me back to the second tower. Yeah, let's go check that again for you, Eric. Yeah, the sounds are quite good. What do you think? What do you would change or fix on this map? My biggest problem right now is the solo lane, and I'll go back and explain that again since we got people filing in. So we can take our river buff, head back through the jungle, let's see what the quickest route is. And this takes us to this takes us back to the tier 1 tower. So there is a safe way to get back. There isn't much of a safe way to go get it though. I changed the CC on the Dawn side. I don't know what you mean, Shark. So let's measure how long it takes to get over to solo lane. Then I'll talk about the issue that I had with solo lane again. Will I be streaming the gameplay on the 14th? Maybe. I'm not much of a streamer, man. I like to make highly edited videos as opposed to streaming. I just stream because you guys want me to. All right, so I'm going to start right here. Now I'm going to get my phone. And do a little timer. So let's time how long it takes me to run. Did they get rid of duo lane gold buff and solo 8 regen buff? Yes, Luke, there is no, currently as of now, there is no gold buff and health buff. Footster King, when heroes have an advantage with vertical movement, all others should have another advantage, higher movement speed. I don't know. I don't know about that. Everybody has their own role to fill, you know. So you don't want to homogenize each hero so that they. I guess their kits themselves would balance it out. So I'm going to start now, and we're going to see how long it takes me to get to the middle of solo lane. I'm trying to run there as directly as possible here. Try not to get hung up on the tower. Do I feel the lanes are too wide? They used to be a little too wide. They closed them off a little bit, especially on duo lane side. But this feels a lot like the lane width from Legacy. Coming up on the middle and stop. So that was 38 seconds for me to get from the fountain to the middle of the river. So that is our side lane rotation time. Now, again, let's talk about, well, I've already went over this, but like I said, there's people just kind of filing in. I'm curious if Rampage is keeping his leap from his first iteration or the ground slam that causes a slow. I don't know. I would like to see the leap again because that shit was fun. Okay, so here's my problem. Casters have a unique advantage over melee. As it was pointed out, like, casters can just stand up here and plink at the melee and, you know, without being in any danger whatsoever. But also, because this harvester is placed here in the solo lane, whichever team has advantage of this neutral harvester is going to have an economy advantage over the enemy team. So whoever can push this lane the hardest, which is usually casters, will have an advantage because they'll be able to place their harvester and their team will get an advantage in economy. So I don't like how this benefits casters so much. It's definitely going to be a caster versus caster battle if it stays the way it is. And then in a caster versus caster battle, Bellica usually wins. Feel like this map is too dark. They've lightened it up since the last time I played it, but it might be a little too dark. Win for PS4. According to their frequently asked questions, they kind of plan to release on PS4 in conjunction with their closed beta. So we don't know an exact date or even a time frame, just when they kind of plan to do it. Yes, this is the only hero I can use right now. So let's actually let's measure the distance between the lanes here width-wise. Let me start up my timer again. And go. Yes, there is a 2v2 lane. Try to do this without screwing up. So that's 24 seconds from the side to mid. Let's keep running through. Okay, don't go in there. Don't go in there. I was tempted. Shit, I did it anyway. So I cheated. About 50 seconds, but I cheated. And stop. It's a great point, actually, Mangus, because it seems Core's devs think people will stick to traditional lane champions when that isn't always the case. I don't know about all that. Win for PS4 when they do the closed beta. I don't know about all that. I think they want people to be able to do whatever they want with the game. But nobody can really predict the meta. Like I was saying earlier, people always find a way to do some crazy ass shit. So let's go over to mid lane and time that. If auto attack range does not allow for caster to hit minions from platform without using abilities, it does kind of even it out. Yeah, but it didn't look like that lane was narrow enough to where casters would not have a problem there. Okay, so let's time coming from mid lane up to the fountain. And go. Yeah, there does seem to be a distinct advantage for heroes with a ton of verticality. in its current iteration. What's up, Kyle M? You want Gideon back? Gideon is scheduled to be in the closed alpha, so you get him back pretty soon. So that was 30 seconds. So the lane is about, so that would be a minute all the way across. And let me do from the dunk to the other side real quick, because I kind of screwed that up, didn't I? Minimize the jump escape thingies. I think that they are going to put some invisible walls. Core will bring brand new heroes. Eventually, way down the road, after they reintroduce all of the Paragon heroes, they will introduce their own heroes. But until then, it's going to be, it's going to be a while before they can get all the Paragon heroes in. All right, so I'm going to time from all the way from the dunk pit. Hooded Havoc, how you doing, man? Wouse Man. I hope I said that right. When will people be able to play versus each other and actual play a game? I believe on the 27th, when the closed alpha is officially released. Okay, so I'm going to go. And try not to get hung up in the jungle. Every jungle's a maze when you first start playing a MOBA, but it all evens out in the end. Yes, Revenant was replaced in the alpha by Sparrow. FaZe was replaced by Decker. And I forget who Feng Mao replaced. Kwang. Feng Mao replaced Kwang. That doesn't mean that there's no... God damn it, I did it again. That doesn't mean that there's no Kwang. It just means that it's going to be a little longer for Kwang to come into the game. And boop. So about 60 seconds. Of course, I screwed it up again. So I'm going to have to do it again. April 27th is for Core Alpha. Yes, indeed. And 10K invites. Yes, indeed. What time is the influencers going at it? I don't know what you mean. Can't wait to play with Wukong. I think Wukong's probably going to be one of the later heroes to be released. Epic couldn't even fix Wukong, so it's going to be a challenge for both Metabuff and Omega Studios. Those horseshoe-like corridors. Yeah, well, they're messing me up for sure. But I'm gonna try again. I'll probably do the exact same thing and go. Well, those corridors are for the Prime and the Revenant. So I need to make sure I take a very wide turn coming out of here. Tiger, what's up? Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Don't go in there. Go through here. Oh my God. I think I did it. I think I did it. Now let's go all the way to the badunkadunk. 50 seconds. So a minute across, 50 seconds wide, of course. You know, that 50 seconds is avoiding obstacles and such. How can I support the developers? Go to metabuff.com and buy yourself some merch. So, yeah, this lane, this is the duo lane, and it is indeed a little smaller than it was before. They pushed out the prime dunk buff. This used to be a very, very narrow corridor with the dunk over here. They moved it over a little bit. Oh, that's a... I need to say something about that. That's no bueno. Could you imagine trying to dunk and you get caught on the edge right here? How frustrating that would be. So I'll say something to them about that. Hellland is asking about crossplay. That kind of depends on Sony, right? I mean, I know Metabuff has talked about it a few times, and I think the general consensus is that for casual play, PC versus PS4 is fine, but for competitive play, they would have their own separate ways to compete. So that kind of depends on Sony, though. Sony has kind of been a stickler about crossplay lately, so we'll have to see that when it comes out. This looks dope, says Gunkstunk. It is dope and fresh. So they have made some changes. Now let's go, let's run around in the jungle a bit more. It is not out. April 27th is when Core releases. So let's see what kind of rotations we can do. Let's rotate over to mid lane from duo lane, just through the jungle here. So there's our red buff. There's a pretty clear path through here. And we can come in between the tier 1 and tier 2 towers through mid lane. Let's rotate all the way over to solo lane once again. And we're in solo lane. So pretty clear pretty clear pathways to get from one side to the other. This will be, I mean, it'll take a couple games, but I'm sure junglers will get used to this jungle very quickly. There's a lot of indicators to let you know exactly where you are in the jungle too. Which map it is. This is Core's newest map. This will probably be changed by the time the alpha is released. Is there any news on a working minimap? I do not know. I'll have to ask them. Is this in UE4? Yes, it is. So I will go through once again for people that haven't seen how the jungle is laid out and show you that. I really like how there's definitely a difference. Like, it's the sound, there's not, there's a little bit of ambient noise as you're coming in the lanes. As soon as you hit the jungle, though, those birds start chirping at you. Boop. And we're in the jungle. And the birds have started chirping. So, like I said, the jungle is laid out with a triangular formation of white camps with the buff in the middle. And that's the same for blue buff and red buff. There's a few structural differences between the two sides of the jungle, but both sides of the jungle do have the same number of camps. So I think it was Windu. When I was streaming with Windu, he pointed out that's important because, or no, maybe it was Briddick. It was either Briddick or Windu was saying that's important because in Monolith, you always kind of knew where the enemy jungler was because there was the strong side jungler with all those camps, and that's more than likely where they were going to be. Now you don't know where they're going to be farming at, so it'll be a little more of a dangerous proposition to invade the enemy jungler. So we have this is the top of our triangle right here. We have our harvester. Let's move on down to the white camp. We have another white camp here. This is another tip of our triangle. And like I said earlier, it used to be you could only jump into the lane if you had somebody like Kalari. Now they added some steps so you can get up and get back to your lane or gank the lane if you're a jungler. And let's move over to this tip of the triangle. So this is our third jungle camp. And they opened this up a lot more too. You can now access this camp from the back. Excuse me a second. Sorry about that. My throat's a little dry. Any other opinions on Wukong? Don't know. Like my fix for Wukong was to give him ability damage on his ultimate so that he can't melt towers, because you know abilities do far less damage to towers than basics. But I don't know if that would fix him. That might make him broken in team fights, because somebody pointed out you wouldn't be able to itemize against him. So I don't know how they're going to fix Wukong. The other thing I've been curious about is Crunch. It's widely believed that Crunch was underpowered on release because he was created for Monolith, but was released on Legacy. I don't know why that made him underpowered. I was personally quite successful with him on the Legacy map, so I thought he worked fairly well. The only real drawback I saw is Jungle Crunch, because Monolith had far more far more minions within the camp, so his left crunch, you know, exponentially increased his jungle clear times as opposed to other junglers. And in Legacy, there was always only 2 minions. So I think that might be one reason Crunch functioned better on Monolith than Legacy. No Grux. Yeah, on For the Minions this week, I'm going to show you guys why Grux hasn't been introduced by either by Ameda Studios with Predecessor or Metabuff with Core. He's not planned for either of those alphas because the assets they released for Crunch were not complete. Like, the other heroes are far more complete than Grux. I don't know why they didn't want to do Grux, but yeah, I'm going to show you guys the difference between the assets. Ruba's out of Ruba's out of town, so tech time with Ruba is going to be tech time with Mongoose. Hopefully, you know, he makes the tech time a masterpiece. I'm going to see what I can do with my crayons. Make his ult an actual button press instead of a passive. Wukong had a 48% win rate when the game ended, though. Yeah, but that's after they took him out, put him back in, adjusted this, adjusted that. Because they were planning to release Grux with his box skin. That would be great. So, what else do you guys want to see? We haven't really been on the Dusk side too much. May you show us some different jungle routes on left and right? Sure. Let's explore around the jungle. Ooh, a little wall here. I don't like that. I think there should be a step up right there. Let's come into the jungle from the traditional starting jungle entrance here. No, I cannot attack jungle camps. Our first camp here. See, I can't really do anything to them. These guys will be swinging for the knees. This guy will be swinging for your head. And Metabuff has said that they plan to allow stacking of jungle camps. So you pull them away from their spawn point as they're supposed to spawn. That will allow more... Uh-oh, I'm stuck. That will allow more jungle camp minions to spawn. How can I get one of the alpha keys? Whenever they start releasing alpha keys, I'm sure they'll have a sign up, but they haven't released what they're doing with that yet. Other than that, they do plan to give many of the content creators alpha keys to give out. So look for some giveaways from your favorite content creators. So what were we doing? We're looking at jungle paths. So from here we have our layout. We have our solo lane on the left, mid lane on the right. And this is the camp that extends over. We should be coming over solo lane right now. And there's the tier 1 tower for solo lane. Angles for boxing and lane, please. I sure will after I'm done running through the jungle here. So there we can come down for the river buff. And that's the orb prime pit right there. So this corridor right here I think is a problem. I think they need to open up this right here. So let's go check out orb prime real quick. So there we go. There's the orb prime. It looks huge, right? Something Windu pointed out was if you're a melee hero attacking prime, you're going to have to kind of glance up. I mean, usually you would pull prime facing you this way so that you could see out. With him being so big, you cannot see out. You're going to have to like kind of pull him to the side so you can see, try and see if anybody's trying to invade you while you're hitting him. And you're going to have to often look up for his health bar, unless they put his health bar like in the middle of his body. They will show what Briddick saw earlier. What do you mean? Oh, yeah, Briddick saw something special from Opolis. Forgot about that. Yeah, I'm willing to bet it's a trailer as well. So, the angles for boxing in lane. We've already mentioned, I think these should be offset. This is mid lane right here. So, you can fire down from here. And makes it a dangerous... If you fall down here, you're kind of screwed. But I really think they need to open it up a little bit by changing this side over to this side. Now let's go take a look at duo lane. Oh, that's a good idea, Tyler. Having multiple ledges so it kind of acts as steps. So you do still have to jump, but you can't just... but it wouldn't be limited to heroes with double jumps or dashes or teleports. Add more nature. Yeah, I think so. I mean, this isn't even the alpha map. This is pre-alpha map. So I'm sure they've got a lot more work they want to do. Show you some leg. I'll show you my core leggings when they come in. This is the duo lane. So, like I've already mentioned, it's a lot more narrow than it was before, allowing better opportunities for ganking. This was also closed off before, so you now have 3 different angles to gank from if you plan to gank this lane just from the jungle side. And then if you can somehow come in here unnoticed, you can also gank from the prime dunk. So plenty of ganking opportunities. The support is really going to have to be on their toes to keep that ADC alive. Imagine having trees on the lanes like Dota. That would be cool. And you could eat them up too. And get your tangos. Let me see if I can show you guys some bugaroos I found. So this has been walled off. However, earlier I was able to get over, and I tried to go over into the forest there. It didn't work. I'm not going to do that on stream because I have to completely close out the game and bring it back up whenever I fall like that. You still think the jungle is a little too dark? Will the heroes have the same abilities or different? I think some of the heroes will be changed slightly. So let's find one of these dark areas of the jungle. So this is one of the darker areas. I think you can still see Kalari. I mean, before, as it was pointed out, Kalari went all noob Cybot when it was so dark. Let's try to find an even darker point. So this part's pretty dark right here. I don't know. Maybe brighten it up a little bit. They do want the jungle to feel imposing and dangerous, so they might keep it like this. I'm not sure. Everyone just cares about having back all the Paragon characters. Everything else is optional. Kind of. Just needs more textures. Yep. A little more textures wouldn't hurt, or it might hurt. It might up the FPS too much. I don't know, or decrease your FPS. Not sure about that. As far as textures go, I mean, I'm talking about core right now, but Phoenix Rising actually has probably the best textures out of all the games. Even though they're a little behind as far as production goes, they still have access to Quixel Mega Scans, and their textures are top notch. We haven't seen their map in months, but when we did see their map months and months ago, it looked fucking incredible. What roles do you think will be the most influential at this stage of the map? Also, that height of the ledges Kalari can get up, will they add a timer for how long they can be up there? I don't think they're going to add a timer. I think they're going to add some walls so that she can't get up there. I've went over this a few times now, but I think the most influential role right now will be jungler and solo laner, because of this harvester right here, this one neutral harvester. Whoever controls this harvester is going to control the economy gain for the entire team. So either you're going to have a mid laner that can poke the other mid laner out, or your jungler is going to have to often be coming over here to try and force the enemy solo laner out so that you can plant this harvester here. And once the harvester is planted, it is, of course, far more difficult to take it back over. So once you have it planted, you should be solid. When can we go play on PS4? Whenever the closed beta comes out, more than likely. I wish dunk space was more open so you can see something from outside the map. That's a cool idea. Like the dunk spot of Legacy a lot. Yeah, it was kind of its own little arena in Legacy in the side lanes, which was always quite cool. So let's head back over to the red side jungle. We explored a little more in the blue side jungle. Let's head over to the red side jungle and explore over there now. I absolutely love what they did with the sound, how it changes as you enter the jungle. Where's that bird at? Let me find that bird. Okay, so let's coming in from the river buff. Oh, we haven't looked at Fangtooth yet. Let's look at Fangtooth real quick. Or they call him the Revenant. But here's the, I mean, set a little bit different than Orb Prime, but fairly similar location on either side of the map. We have the Revenant, which will, in the proof of concept, they put out a lot of things that the Revenant could do. It's similar to the LoL's Dragons, from what Sockap tells me. I don't play League of Legends, so. Sounds remind me of... Yo, good point, Zombie. Good point. It does kind of remind. It is very Daisy-ish, isn't it? He's got a weird tail. And then we have still have 3 accesses in here, unless you count that back way in. Let's see if they changed. One suggestion I had. Can you jump on him? Oh, I will give it a try. Oh, Jesus Christ. That was one hell of a jump. I don't like this. I think if you jump into the prime pit, you shouldn't be able to stand up here on the ledge and hide behind the shadow wall. Well, I think if you jump into the prime pit with one of these side locations, I think it should be all or nothing. Like, you either jump into the pit or not. If they could put some sort of, I don't know, ledge right here so that it forces you either in or out. Because I don't like being able to just stand here, wait for them to almost get it, and then come in and steal it. Let's see if I can jump on top of Fangtooth. God, her jump is hard to control. Off again. Nope. Okay, that's... I'm not going to be able to do that. How many people are playing her? It's the 27th of April, and it's 10K. Shark Z is correct. Ding, ding, ding. Can you explain the bum effect from Sereth's ult? Not sure I understood burning back then. Oh, the burn effect. It was just that extra damage over time. And did it also prevent healing, or was that just I'm not sure if it prevented healing or not, but I know it was just extra damage over time. When do you know if you are a tester? They haven't released any information on how to sign up. God, this is so beautiful. They haven't released any information about how they're going to go about releasing the alpha keys. Only that some influencer or content creators will have alpha keys to give out for giveaways. So that's all I know for now. When I find out more, I will, of course, let you know. There you go. Shark's got all the answers. If you guys haven't checked out Shark, he makes just absolutely beautiful cinematic edits of Paragon. If you're ever in the mood to reminisce about Paragon and just look at some cool footage, go to Shark's channel and check that out. Do you have any idea or information about the card system? They plan to have a standard item shop. I don't know how they plan to implement it. I don't know if it's going to be like they had in their proof of concept, but it will just be it'll be 6 slots and a more of a standard item system with all the items being available to everyone instead of having it locked to progression, which is absolutely fantastic because Paragon became a little pay to win towards the end. I mean, it didn't affect me any because I had everything anyway, but for new players coming in, they were just stunted by not having access to certain cards. But that will not be a problem with Core. Anywhere else anybody wants me to go? How does the mobility feel? It feels good. I went over this the last time I talked about the map, but I like the way they've done this. There's a bit of inertia involved with character movement. So we're standing here with Kalari. As we go, you see it takes her a little bit to take off. That's going to make it a little easier for enemies to land attacks and a little harder for you to juke attacks. So, as you change directions, it's the same thing. But the movement feels natural, and it feels really good. Oh yeah, like this. They've lightened it up a little bit. Um, not not as much as some people seem to want it to be. It does seem a little dark through here, but it definitely isn't as dark as the last time I played around on this map. Will there be any PvP before the 27th? I thought you guys were getting early access, not just map runs again. Um, excuse me. Not that I know of. Not that I know of. Mario, how you doing? How you doing? But yes, not no PvP that I know of. Nothing's been mentioned to me about that. Um, there has been some underground talk that there might be like a trailer, like a gameplay trailer coming soon, but I can neither confirm nor deny that because I actually do not know. There's a lot of times that I know way more shit than I'm allowed to say. This time I don't actually know. It will automatically save as a video, Amar Alam. When they're going to release the closed beta, I don't know. It depends on how the alpha goes. They'll take all the time they need in the alpha before going to beta. If it gives you any bit of an idea of a time frame, Paragon was in alpha for 5 months, like 5 to 6 months. Kevin Villanueva says, Paragon is dead. This game will never make it. Pure waste of time. That is one opinion, of course, and I will respect your opinion. However, I respectfully disagree. I don't think these games need to be nearly as successful, monetarily wise, as the game needed to be for Epic. Metabuff does not have to report to investors and stuff like Epic did. They have a much smaller team, so they don't need to make as much money to keep the game going as Epic did. So I think this game could be successful with a smaller number of players playing it, and then that if the game is good and it works well, then that number of players will continue to grow until they can blossom into a much bigger company. So I disagree with you, however, I do respect your opinion, and it is valid. This looks crazy. That's because it is crazy, and they kept the shape of mid lane the same, so it does bend around, so you cannot see the enemy's core from mid lane because there is a bit of a bend to it. Can I run backwards? No, I cannot run backwards. As soon as I try to run backwards, I turn. Enough people still play EverQuest that they're still putting out expansions. Yeah, that's true. I thought EverQuest was dead for real. I just learned that EverQuest was still alive and kicking. Epic's tutorial was so limited. Absolutely 100% correct. I think that is something all of these companies need to do, is provide much better tutorials, because Paragon was the first first MOBA that a lot of people played, and the tutorial didn't provide enough information on how you are supposed to win a MOBA. People went in treating it like a first person shooter, not realizing that economy gain is the way you win a MOBA. So now shooting. So take you running back while auto attacking. Try running back while auto attacking. All right, Sids, I will give that a try. Nope, it turns me. Oh shoot! There we go. Reflection captures need to be rebuilt. Yep, this is definitely Unreal Engine. Yeah, I can. Yeah, it doesn't let me walk backwards at all. Fibban, how you doing, man? How do I play this? It is going to be released on April 27th for the alpha. Can you use any abilities? I can only double jump. And auto attack, basic attack, whatever you want to call it. Is this on console? Not yet, Fim. Not yet. They planned eventual release on the PlayStation Network. Hopefully they'll have it out on PS4 before the PS4 becomes the PS5. So, anywhere you guys want me to go on the map? Who do you think? What do you think about possible competition with other successors, considering they are using the same items and characters are all the same? Also, what sets this game apart from them? Very good question. Clip plays. There's only really two games that are using the Paragon assets, and that would be Meta Studios with predecessor in this game, which is Metabuff and Core. So I think what sets them apart for now, at least, is that predecessor seems to be going for more of a straight nostalgic legacy feel, and they made some great changes and introduced a few mechanics to their map that are different than legacy, but all in all it's very legacy feeling, whereas Metabuff and Core seems to be combining some of the better elements of Monolith and some of the better elements of Legacy to create a new game out of that. Other than that, they're all going to have the same heroes. Their alphas are a little different. Predecessor are only released with 5 heroes in their alpha, and Core is going to release with 15 heroes. And the Predecessor alpha was already out. I already played that, and they're now reworking it. They took all their lessons learned from the first iteration of the alpha. They'll rework it, bring it back out. I'm actually going to have... Oh, why is that crap up on the top of my screen? I'm actually going to have Sergeant Smokey on for the Minions this week, so we'll get a little more information from him. Yeah, the birds sound really good. Or Prime and Fangtooth pits. I sure will. So we got Fangtooth. This is the duo lane. So let's rotate over to Fangtooth. I'm going to take the natural route that anybody would have to take instead of skipping through like I can with Kalari. So we have this big wall right here, and then here's the Fangtooth pit. Right now. So he is called Remnant now in Core. Core casting calls, baby. So there he is. Now let's go on over to we got a river buff right here. We're coming into mid lane right now. We got these ledges in mid lane. And our other river buff. So let's walk around this river buff and head over, and I'll show you the Orb Prime pit. And there he is, Orb Prime. Much bigger than I remember. And you have a access here for heroes with movement abilities like Kalari. And then you have a general open access for everybody else right here. I imagine Gideon throwing a portal up there and everybody hopping through it would be a good way to gank and attempt to take Prime. Do you know what version of Sev's kit they will use? How you get the stacks? I do not know. I do not know what version of that. If they're going to allow all abilities to get stacks or just his Q. Starting over with lore, extending epics, or no idea. Core's lore mistress, Nas, has actually been in the chat. She is absolutely amazing. She is doing all new lore, kind of butting it up against the old lore. She did she's already released some lore about Gadget, Shinbi, and a little bit of Gideon in there too. Absolutely fantastic. If you haven't checked that out, you can find it in the announcements of their Discord. I also did a video about it where I read the lore aloud, kind of like I used to do with myths from Monolith. So yeah, they do plan to continue their own lore. And they're putting a lot more emphasis on lore, which makes me very happy. I'm a lore guy. That makes me very happy about Core, is that they're going to be doing that. Can I jump on orb? Always want me to jump on stuff, and you know if I can or not too. That's the problem. I think Icy Vibes is just trolling you guys. Weird with all those walls and hills in there. A little bit, yeah. Oh, this is so hard to try and jump on orb. Oh, hey! He did it. And the crowd goes wild. So there we are. So I wonder if you could attack him from up here. Just stand on his head, slice away. Somebody comes in, you just shoot him from atop the Orb Prime. Wait, how do you feel about the monolith-like design? I mean, it's not really monolith-like design. It's just monolith assets being used in a legacy design. So I think they look clean. I think they look good. I think I prefer the amp crystals for the towers over the turrets. The turrets do look properly imposing and awesome. However, like, I like these turrets. These turrets are really cool, but I think I prefer the amp crystals. Wish you could ride the Orb Prime or Fangtooth and have them as a temporary ally. Oh my god. That would be absolutely fantastic. The aesthetic, yeah, I think I don't know, like I said, I mean, that's all personal opinion, but I think I like the monolith assets for the most part, but I like the well, I mean, the Amp Crystal Towers were a monolith asset too. I think I like those better than these. Yeah, I really want to ride Fangtooth and Orb Prime around now. Like Master Blaster and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. What else you guys want to see? What else you guys want to see? How long have we been on here? About an hour and 20 minutes? Question, can you watch Game of Thrones live on HBO now? I have no idea. I read the books and then got really pissed that they turned it into a TV series. All right, folks, I think that's going to wrap it up for me. I'm not a streamer. I do not like to sit here for hours, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I think that's going to be it. I know you guys would want to see this, so I went ahead and streamed it for you guys. I'll talk about it a little. Whoa, had a frame rate drop there. What was that all about? Oh, look at that. I'm going to have to report that as a bug. I get quite the frame rate drop whenever I'm coming into the fountain here. All right, I'll clip that later and send that to him. What GP? I'm using a 1060 right now. My 1080 shit the bed on me. The number of fog walls total. Holy shit. I suppose we can count them on one side and see. Who's playing? I tried Smite. I just couldn't get into it. Yeah, I'm going to hang around a little bit longer, Icy Vibes, since somebody wanted to know the exact number of fog walls, and that is an interesting question, and I'm kind of curious myself. So I'll count neutral ones in the middle and ones on the side, and then we'll just double it. We'll cut it in half and double it. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Five, 6. Did I miss that one? 7, 8. Go 9 right there. 10. I'm not going to count that one. So it looks like 10 on one side. With two, well, it would be 11 on one side with 2 of them being neutral. Kind of in the middle fog walls. Bring back Legacy Steel. Bring back Legacy Steel with Shockwave. That shit was overpowered. Beyblade Fang, yeah. You like the bonk? Like the bonk shark? Yeah, like I've said about Smite, it's a different game. Like I try to use it as a substitute for Paragon. It is not a substitute for Paragon, but it is a perfectly good game on its own. It's a very different game than Paragon. You hope they change the phase kit to make her more supportive? Yeah, I just did a video about that. Legacy Gideon or nah? I kind of his Cosmic Rift kind of sucked in Legacy, right? Like when it dealt like 3 different hits of damage, it was just so easy to avoid that damage. Is Fingmail Hamstring still a passive? I certainly hope not. In Predecessor, it was an active like it used to be. I hopefully Core will also bring it back as an active ability. Will you still be able to do it? Do you think there will be an item for planting harvesters? I don't know. That's a very good question. It's a question I've asked, but I haven't. I've always gotten the to be determined answer. So I don't know how you're going to go about planting harvesters. I don't know if you need a key for that or not. I guess we'll find out soon. They decided on an item system in Core. I remember loving Paragon's card system. I believe it's going to be 6 items. They're just going to be called items. I mean, you can call it a card or an item, whatever. But I don't believe they're going to be able to be upgraded the same way that they were in Paragon. But they will be available to everyone. You will not have. They will not be progression locked. Day 1, game 1, you'll have all the items available to you. Do you know if they changed Big Daddy Bash? I have no idea if they changed him or not. I hope not, because I thought Bash was just fine. Are there any substantial differences between Core and Paragon, something that Paragon didn't have that the devs of Core are implementing? Well, they plan to implement ranked for one, which I think will be a massive improvement. It's not going to be at first, of course, but eventually they will have ranked down the road. I mean, there's a lot of things. I can't really think of all of them right now. That's the big one that I can think of. That would vastly improve the player experience overall. And then they're not going to have loot boxes. Paragon had loot boxes. Core's not going to have loot boxes, so thank God for that. And I don't know. The proof of concept had a lot of different concepts that I don't think they're ever going to realize. So. What's the date for the alpha? 27th of this month. Honestly, I want them to replace Narbash with the Faze since she came out first. Before him, I want our 3 girls as the main supports when the game comes out for alpha. They were the only pure supports. the Muriel Decker Faye. Yeah, Faye was my number two favorite. I didn't play her to support though. I played her mid lane, off lane. All right, folks. I think that is going to be it for now. There's going to be plenty of other people streaming the map. Just keep a lookout. Keep a lookout for NATO Window. NATO Christo, Windu the Mace, Britic HD. All those guys are going to be streaming this stuff, plus many others. I probably missed a few people. But I think that's going to be it for now for me, folks. I really appreciate you coming to hang out with me. It was a good time. I don't usually stream, but if it's something like this where I know you guys are going to want to see it as soon as possible, I will go ahead and stream it. So thanks for coming to hang out. That's going to be it for now. Have a great day, everyone. And now I'll awkwardly try to close the stream.